Hello and welcome. We'll give everyone just a few minutes, well, a few seconds here to make sure everyone's logged on, and then we'll go ahead and get started here. If you're here for the University of Utah, you are in the right place. We're just gonna see if we can get a few more people to log on here, and we will get started. So give us just one quick, well, not even a minute, maybe another 20 seconds here. All right. Okay, well, we will go ahead and get started. I want to make sure we give enough time for our panelists here. So welcome everyone to the virtual college exploration for all Ohio students, sponsored by the Ohio Association for College Admissions Counseling and by StriveScan. So we partnered up for this event for y'all. Thank you so much for joining us today. We know life is crazy busy right now. Before we get started, I do just want to go over a few housekeeping items with you. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type answers to your questions, and your presenters will either answer them, type them out to you, or wait till the end to answer them for you. So I promise we see the questions, they'll just get to them when they can. If your question is not answered, that's totally fine. They can reach out to you later and answer their question as well. Your camera and your microphone are off, so you cannot, we cannot see you, sorry, but you can see us, so we can't see you or hear you. And then this is just one of the many different sessions happening for this big virtual event. So be sure to check out the whole schedule at oacac.org, and then all of the presentations will also be recorded. So you can also check out all the recordings at oacac.org. Now I'm going to turn it over to your presenters so you can hear a little bit more about the University of Utah.
Thank you so much. Welcome, Bryce. I saw that you are our lone attendee right now. So we're excited that you're here. And unfortunately, your camera is not on, your mic's not on, so we don't get to actually talk to you. But you can chat with Sarah May. She's going to be in the chat. So my name is Scott Hurd. I'm one of the admissions counselors here at the University of Utah. I'm actually the admissions counselor for the state of Ohio. So I'm your direct contact. So if you have any questions after this, during this, you can reach out to me at any point. I'm happy to help and answer any questions you have about the University of Utah. I'll let Sarah May introduce herself. She's the expert. I've been at the University of Utah just a few months now, but she's here to help with all the hard questions.
Yeah, welcome Bryce and anyone else should they join us eventually. But I'm Sarah May. I'm just another admissions counselor just like Scott. I'm here to support Scott today in presenting to you guys and also just man the chat. So if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I'll probably save them all for the end because I'm not expecting we'll get a huge influx with this audience, but just be sure to put those in there and we will answer them accordingly. So let's get started.
All right, thanks, Sarah May. So today we're just going to kind of give you a brief overview of the University of Utah, give you some background, some information, so you can determine whether or not it's a good fit for you. I always say that finding a college is like buying a pair of pants. Like you want to try it on, you want to know that it fits. So we're glad that you're here today because there's a lot to learn about the University of Utah. There's a lot that you need to know, especially if you're in Ohio and thinking of moving states. You want to have as much information as you can to help you in your decision. So hopefully we can cover some of the basics, some of the main things that you want to know, and then get to your questions as well at the end. So the University of Utah, if I can find out where to click. We were founded in 1850, so we are the oldest institution west of the Missouri River. And we were founded actually before Utah was even a state. We've grown a lot since then. We now have about 32,000 students. 8,000 of those are grad, so about 24,000 undergrad students. So we're a larger institution, but we maintain like a small feel. So we actually have a 17-to-1 student-faculty ratio. 65% of our classes have 30 students or less. The average class size is actually 23. So it's a really small, close-knit kind of feel that you get to have with your professors in your classes. most of them hold the highest degree in their field, 98% of them, and we are a Tier 1 research university. So not only are our professors experts already, they know what they're talking about, they know their stuff, but they're also adding to that field of knowledge. And that's actually something that you can be a part of at the University of Utah through research, and is an excellent opportunity to take advantage of to work even closer with your professors. Some of the outcomes that we see for our students is that we have the highest graduation rate among public universities here in the state of Utah, and actually the lowest student debt rate among public universities in Utah. And that's great. You come in, you graduate with little debt. And then we see that our students are actually making about $17,000 more than the national median in their first job. So that's a really awesome thing that, like, you know, you're coming and you're going to get a degree, you're going to graduate with a little amount of debt, and you're going to earn more so that it's easier to pay off any debt that you might have, or just do all the fun things that you want to do once you're finally done with school. So the biggest thing, I think, and the neatest thing about the University of Utah is where we're located. So we're in Salt Lake City, Utah, and a lot of people don't know much about Salt Lake. They know that the Utah Jazz play here, Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, go Jazz. But they don't know much else about the city. And for me, it's a place that I call home. Like, I'm happy to be here, and it's fun to be here. You got so many things downtown. You've got all the shopping you want. We've got all sorts of different concert venues like Vivint Smart Home Arena, which is where the Jazz play, but also hosts some giant concerts in there. Great places to eat, as well as access to the state capitol just right down the street from campus. Salt Lake City was voted one of the best places to live as a young professional, meaning that there's a lot of great opportunities throughout the valley professionally. So we have one of the top economies in the country. So that means that there's places that work is available, like to work a part-time job, but even to find like an internship, to get in with one of the Fortune 500 companies that are here in the valley, and intern with them so you can get that real life experience preparing you for after college. And the fact that it's just a beautiful place. Not because, well, the city's beautiful too, but I'm partial to the outdoors. Here near the University of Utah, you can walk out the back door of campus housing and be on a trail in the mountains. So we have 6 ski resorts, 6 world-class ski resorts within 45 minutes of campus, and even more within an hour and a half that you can get to super easily. And if you don't ski or snowboard, that's okay, because great skiing in the winter typically means great hiking and rock climbing in the summers, in the warmer months when there's not so much snow on the ground. And I'll be honest, Utah's winters are beautiful. So I spent a winter in Michigan, which isn't too far from Ohio, and I was happy to come back to Utah afterwards. It's a different kind of cold, but it's not humid. And we get plenty of snow. The greatest snow on earth, actually, is our saying. So awesome opportunities outside of the city as well. And even just being in the state of Utah puts you within range of like the 5 mighty national parks. We've got several here in the state, and they're super accessible, easy to get to, and worth getting to. Like, the diversity of Utah's geography is something else. And so while you're here, you want to make sure that you spend your time all across it and experience these different things like Zion National Park, Bryce Canyon, Moab, just some awesome places to get out and explore, especially if you love being outdoors. And coming to the University of Utah puts you right in the middle of all of these. Even though we have all these great things around us, we're not content to just kind of sit in the middle, sit on our hands and be happy with it. We consider ourselves a campus in motion. We're always trying to change and build and grow our programs that we offer for our students so that they have the best experience possible. One example of this would be like the Crocker Science Building. So it actually used to be the Museum of Natural History here in the state. They moved to a different location and we took over the building and renovated it. You see these awesome labs here on the side with these great big windows that allow students to see into the lab and see what's going on, to encourage collaboration. Maybe you see a professor and they're working on a research project and you think that looks cool. I can't even tell what they're doing, or know what they're doing, but I want to get involved. And we encourage that. We want our students to know what's going on around them and to seek out those opportunities to add to the value that they're already getting in the classroom. You notice the natural lighting. We try to have that all across campus in different locations so that as you're studying, you can retain that information better. At least that's what studies show, is it helps to study in natural light. Another example of our being in motion is our brand new residence hall called CalArt Village. So this just opened this semester. So it's the first month that anyone has even lived in there. So if you're looking to start in fall of 2021, you know that you're going to be moving into a brand new residence hall. It's for freshmen only, and it has 4 different towers, living learning communities that you can get involved in. Maybe you want to be a part of the community engagement or the STEM tower. Maybe you're considering applying to Honors College and being part of the living learning community here. So there's all sorts of different ways that we're adding to the experience for our students. CalArt Village is right across the sidewalk from our Student Life Center, which is our hub for recreation activity. We've got basketball courts, 4-story climbing wall, a bouldering wall. You've got weights and cardio equipment, an indoor track, a great big pool, and like a 40-person hot tub. I don't know why you would want to go to a hot tub with 40 people, but there's enough room for all of you if you show up together. Great place to go and relax after a day in the mountains, recover from your hiking, as well as like intramural activities. One of the coolest things in our Student Life Center as well is the Outdoor Adventure Center. So if getting out to those parks and experiencing the nature here in Utah is what you want, the Outdoor Activity Center has equipment that you can go and rent for a great rate. They plan activities that you can be a part of to go out and experience those things. And it's one of the largest equipment rental places in the country. So it's pretty cool and something worth taking your time. Of course, you're coming to school to get a degree. That's the whole idea behind it, right? You want to get a degree and get a job. So we have 18 colleges and over 150 majors, minors, and certificates that you can choose from. If you know what you want to study, great. It's most likely we have it. It may not be directly under the name that you're thinking, but we can help you figure out what it is. If you don't, that's okay. We have a major exploration program that you can take part of and really kind of explore your options and see how your interests and passions might line up with a career and what major could get you to that. And so it's definitely something to explore and consider. Maybe you know what you want to do right now, but that doesn't mean it won't change. And that is perfectly fine. I actually am not using my degree, and I'll explain that a little bit later. But there's options to choose from. We've got 2 pages of them here. This might not even be a comprehensive list. So I mentioned this already, just kind of briefly in talking about what is available to you here in Salt Lake and in the Valley. Getting outside of the classroom is the things that are going to make a difference in your education. So you want to take what you're learning in the classroom, take what you've read in that textbook and apply it in real life situations. And there's plenty of opportunities for that. Maybe you're interested in business. You can get involved in the Lasan Studios, which you see in the top right corner here. That's our maker space. So it's a place where people with business ideas and product ideas can go and build those. They can make that happen. There with the Entrepreneur Center, there's things like funding events where you can go and compete with your business idea to get seated and get started. They have space available for you to run your business from and to get mentored by business owners in the community. Maybe you want to get involved in the Honors College and take on real life problems and see how you can solve them. Study abroad, learning abroad. We have all sorts of different places that you can go to basically every continent. We even have research going on in Antarctica. and that's something that you can be involved in. The Utah Research Opportunity Program, UROP, is for students to get funding to take on research ideas that they have, or to get involved with research that professors are already doing. Like, there's so many things outside of the classroom to get involved in that are really going to enhance your education and really get the most value for it from it, so that you can show future employers that you're ready to use your degree. Of course, you want to have fun as well. We have over 600 clubs and organizations on campus that you can get involved in. So like I mentioned earlier, I actually studied exercise science, like that's what my degree was in. But while I was doing my undergrad, I got involved in campus recruiting. Like, I went and gave tours of campus, and I visited high schools and did all these kinds of things. And I was like, this is cool. I had no idea that I could make a career out of this. Like, I'll graduate with my degree in exercise science, but I want to do this. And that's how I got here today, is because of the things that I was doing outside of the classroom. So don't be afraid to try out a new club, to get involved in something, whether it's for fun or whether it's like related to the degree that you're pursuing. There's all sorts of opportunities, like Human Battleship that you see here, where they're in the pool, like literally trying to sink each other's canoes. Where else do you do these kind of things? The University of Utah has all sorts of opportunities available for you. So come in and check them out for sure. And if you can't find something that interests you, you can always start your own club and get funding to do that. Of course, there's athletics, and that's something that is top priority, should be top priority for you if you're looking for something to do. So this is our must, the Mighty Utah Student Section. They've been ranked in the top 5 by ESPN multiple times, and they have a lot of fun. They get rowdy. So this is the third down jump. This is a tradition as our team's on defense, trying to distract our opponent. It gets so loud, and they are jumping so much that it registers as an earthquake here in the geography department on campus. Like, that is where it's at, and that is what's going on, because obviously if our students are having that much fun, you know that our athletic teams are doing well also. And this is something that you can get involved in your freshman year. Specifically for football, there is a payment, but that reserves you a seat. You get a cool shirt. And then for the rest of all the other sporting events, that's most of those things you can get in for free. And we're part of the Pac-12, so you know that we've got some great competition, but not only athletically, but academically as well. So the Pac-12 is an athletic conference, but it's an academic conference as well. And if our students can compete with the other schools across this conference, then we wouldn't have merited an invitation. Also, one thing I want to point out. So this is Rice Eccles Stadium. This is our football stadium. You see how large it is, and we're adding space to it actually. But going back to academics, research space on campus, we actually have this much space times 2.5. So if research is your thing, like, there's space for it. Like I said, we're part of the Pac-12, have over 19 varsity athletics. One of the coolest things that I didn't realize I would love until I got to university was women's gymnastics. And our women's team here is actually, like, we're breaking records for attendance. We set records 2 years ago, and then we broke it this last season. Gymnastics meets are a blast. And again, it's one of those new things that you try when you get to school that you didn't realize was a thing until you experienced it. So definitely try those new things that you're not aware of. Get out and experience them. The best way to get connected and know what's going on and be a part of those experiences would be to live on campus. I already mentioned, like, our brand new residence hall, Callert Village. In the bottom here, you see Lasan Studios. So this is that makerspace I was talking about. It's one of the only places on campus where, like, freshmen to doctorate level students are living in the same place. You don't have to, like, be an entrepreneur or a business owner, but you need to have some kind of interest in business to live there. but just a lot of different opportunities, unique opportunities to live on campus that make your commute in the mornings that much easier. You can roll out of bed, get to class in 10 or 15 minutes, and not have to worry about finding parking or anything like that. So our application is already opened. It opened August 1st, and we are on the Common App. So we use a holistic review process in reviewing our students in their applications. So we're not just looking at GPA and ACT scores or SAT scores, and test scores are actually optional this year for admissions. They're not required, but we're looking at things that you're involved in, things outside of the classroom as well, that add to your educational experience and give us a better understanding of who you actually are as a person. So make sure that you're using that additional information section to share with us things like if you're a caregiver for someone in your family, if you're involved in things outside of the classroom, maybe student government or athletics, like whatever it is, the more we know about you, the more reasons we have to say yes, really. And so again, not just GPA or test scores, like we're looking at course rigor. So make sure that you're challenging yourself and preparing yourself for college. So once you're admitted, it's an investment. You're making an investment in your in school. So we're going to look at this right-hand side for numbers as far as like tuition costs and things like that, with the idea that you can get to the left side. You can get to the in-state cost of things. So tuition costs for out-of-state students, which you would be coming from Ohio, it's right around $29,000 for the full year, 13 credits each semester. Room and board is kind of a high estimate. There is a chance you can bring that down, maybe if you live in a double room and you get kind of a lower meal plan. That's a high estimate, as if you were like in a private room going out for steak and lobster every weekend. So in total, looking around $40,000 for the full academic year, but that's sticker price. Last year, the university awarded over $98 million in scholarships and grants. And so this is what you would pay like right out of the bag with nothing, but definitely make sure that you're applying to be considered for scholarships and completing your FAFSA. So I mentioned that you can move from that out-of-state to the in-state cost, and that's actually relatively easy here at the University of Utah. In the state of Utah, gaining residency for tuition purposes, there's really kind of 3 steps that you need to complete to make that happen. So you need to be in the state for 12 continuous months. There is 29 days of leeway there that you can travel to visit family over holidays, things like that. Take a trip for spring break. If spring break ever happens again, hopefully this pandemic will end. But yeah, so second step would be to prove financial independence, meaning that your parents can't claim you on their taxes. So that first year, you file your own taxes as an independent, and that gets you on your way to establishing residency and paying in-state tuition. The final step, or the third requirement, would to be established ties with the state. So that would be something like getting a driver's license, registering to vote, registering a car if you brought one. And then finally, after completing those 3 things, you would apply for residency reclassification. And by your second year, you could be paying that in-state tuition rate, which is about a $20,000 difference. So pretty neat, an awesome opportunity, something that you definitely would want to consider taking advantage of, especially if you're thinking maybe you want to go to grad school, you want to do that here at the University of Utah within the state. You would have residency for that as well. So how do you avoid paying that sticker price, that straight out of the box price? You apply in time. So our early action 1 date is December 1st. Students who apply by that date will have their admissions decision by January 15th. Our scholarship deadline is going to be February 1st. This year, so like I mentioned, ACT, SAT scores are optional for admissions. But if you want to be considered for merit-based scholarships, you are going to need to send those scores with your application. So if you've applied and completed your application, we have your high school transcripts, your test scores on file. By February 1st, you'll automatically be considered for merit-based scholarships. And we always encourage our students to apply for the FAFSA, just because you never know if requirements will change, funding will change each year. So make sure that wherever you end up, you're always taking advantage of the FAFSA and applying for that, because who doesn't want a grant of free money that you don't have to pay back, or a much lower interest rate loan, and also opportunities to use work study to work on campus. But yeah, make sure that you complete your application in full by February 1st to automatically be considered for scholarships. We are hoping to start offering campus tours again soon. We're going on like a 2-week circuit breaker because we're hosting the vice presidential debate. So watch that so you can see just a tiny little bit of campus and inside bit of campus. But yeah, when it's safe to do so and possible, make sure that you come and visit us. We'd love to have you here. Like I said, buying a pair of pants, you want to try it on, you want to have that experience and know what it's like first before you make that final decision. We have a virtual tour posted online. If you can't make it, you can view that video and have a chance to see a little bit of campus and get that experience. But yeah, campus is beautiful and definitely something that you want to see if it's an opportunity for you. That being said, I know that I just kind of threw a lot of things at you, ran through a lot of information. This is my contact information. If you have questions, you can reach out to me. I'm available. You can give me a call, send me an email, or you can use our website to find my information, get on it, and schedule an appointment with me. I'm happy to help and answer any questions that you have. That being said, we have some time for questions now, and we are happy to answer any of those. Did you have any questions already in the chat, Sarah May?
Yeah, we don't have any questions in the chat just yet, but Bryce, if you want to enter anything and everything in there, if not, that's totally okay. We really do appreciate your attention for this past hour, but just expanding on one thing that Scott was talking about, we are hoping to have those campus tours happen on campus pretty soon, but in the meantime, we are running a lot of different virtual events. So we do run info sessions nearly every day, but we're also running a few other events. There's some events that are more department specific. So if you have a certain area of interest, or if you're interested in the Honors College, you can reach out to us and we are happy to direct you to where those events are. Another good place to kind of check us out is on Instagram. We do some Instagram lives and things like that to get you a little bit more information. So we do have one question. Do you allow freshmen with cars? Because some colleges don't. That's a really great question. We do. So the way that it works is you'll just be purchasing a parking pass, and then you can really purchase one at any time, and you'll just decide which level of parking pass. They're labeled by like an A lot or a U lot, and you can pick which parking pass is best for you, or if there is a certain lot that's closer to the buildings that your classes are in, but freshmen are allowed to purchase those passes.
Yeah, and then to add to that, so coming like across the country, it's definitely going to be easier to have a car with you. But then once you get here, really you don't need a car. So as a student, you have free access to the local transit here, the public transit in the Valley. So you can get on a light rail, get on a bus that's going to get you downtown, and get you access to the entire city. So it's perfectly acceptable to bring a car, and then it's also like possible to get by without one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and our public transportation comes with your student ID card, so you don't need to pay for that. But if you do bring your car, make sure you register it so that you can start knocking off those steps to residency, because that's a huge money saver. But that's a great question. Thanks for asking that. Anything else?
So Sarah May, I just want to I love when you share your experience and how you ended up here at the University of Utah, because you're not from Utah.
No.
So I would love if you could share that with us in your little story and how you ended up here.
Yeah, so like Scott said, I did not attend the University of Utah. I actually went to Appalachian State in North Carolina and had a great time there, really enjoyed it. Had never been west in my entire life, and an internship actually placed me out here, and I worked on an Air Force base a little bit north of Salt Lake City. And when I was working there, one of my friends that I worked with went to the U and drove me around campus one night, and 1 hour turned into 5 hours, and we were driving around campus hearing all the stories of his time here and in his organizations and clubs and his major and all the things. And I absolutely fell in love with it. I truly saw it one time in the dark, and just felt the community, and I really loved it. And I was like, I have to go there. But of course, I had already finished my degree, so I was like, I'm not going to go here. I'm done with school. So I was like, I'm going to work there. So it took me a few tries, and I finally got here and got this job, and I moved across the country for it. So if you coming from Ohio, if you've never been to Utah like I was one day a few years back, I can assure you that you could drive around campus one time and want to move here, move your whole life across the country. So it's a really cool place. I love the mountains. I love the city aspect. I think it's a really manageable city. I typically hate cities, but Salt Lake itself is a smaller city. It kind of gives off a small town, college town vibe, but you have those big campus opportunities. You have things to do in a city. There are employers here, internships are happening. There's a lot going on here, but it's not like it's New York City or LA or something where you can't even drive downtown without getting super stressed out. It's just super manageable, and I really like that balance of the outdoors and the city. And our campus is really pretty because we hug the mountains and we overlook the city. So you really have great views up here. And like Scott was saying, you can really take the tracks around. You can walk downtown. Things are really easy to get around here, because typically in a city, I'd be like, I'm not driving absolutely anywhere. That's going to stress me out. But here, it's super laid back, super easy to get around, and you just have incredible views. And being from the East Coast, there is nothing like Utah out there, at least. I send my family pictures all the time, and they're just blown away by the parks down south or the mountains that I get to ski in, or just hiking around the canyons. They're absolutely mesmerized by it, which was my first impression, but they even say like I've never seen anything like that. So it's a really unique place to be. Salt Lake in itself is also a really great place for young people. I'd say like early 20s, early 30s. It's a really happening place, I'd say. There's a lot of young people coming here. There's just fun things to do. And it's a really diverse place, which I did not necessarily expect. So hopefully my story gives you a little snippet, but I think the biggest takeaway is truly the community that I felt that one night driving around, and just the views really did make me move across the country. And I do some crazy things, but that is, that was pretty wild of me to just up and move across the country, but it was so worth it. It's been great ever since. So hopefully, Bryce, you get to come visit us on campus soon if you have not, but I hope that you get to feel that as well.
Thanks, Sarah May.
Yeah.
It's a great story. It's really
Yes.
cool to hear.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I lived in Michigan for one winter, and I was not disappointed coming back to Utah. So it's a beautiful place to be, and definitely a place that I love the opportunity to call home.
Yeah, and I actually hate winter. I will be so real about that. I hate winter, hate snow, I hate all of those things, but somehow I always end up in these winter wonderlands. But my favorite part about Salt Lake City is that it doesn't snow too much here on the ground in the city. We kind of see the snow in the mountains, and we know that it's over there, and it's like dumping at the ski resorts, and it's super fun over there, but it's not super inconvenient here. So that's fun. You can still move around, drive around, do all the things you want, but you're not too inconvenienced by it. And if you want to be in that winter wonderland and just be skiing and all that. Like it's like 20 minutes away and it will have snowed like 2 feet. And in the city, you might just get to see a few flurries or something. So it's a pretty cool balance and it's just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. I'm not sure if we have any other questions in the chat.
Yeah, are there any other questions? Bryce, if you don't have any other questions, again, thank you for coming and listening to us. You do not need to stay with us for the next 10 minutes or so. I know Strive Scan has one more thing for you, but just make sure you reach out to Scott if you ever have any questions. You can email us, you can call us, you can set up a phone call, a Zoom call, whatever works for you. No question is too small or stupid or any of that. We are really here to help throughout any stages of the application process or wherever you are in high school, just trying to check things out. But yeah, and you're welcome. Yeah, he thanked us if you can't see that, Scott. So
Yeah.
You're totally welcome. We're happy to help and just feel free to reach out if there's anything else we can do.
Yeah, appreciate you taking the time to join us today. And all of you who view this later, definitely reach out. We'd love to help you with any part of the application and answering your questions so you can feel comfortable or in taking a wild chance like Sarah May did in moving to Utah.
All right. Thanks so much, Scott and Sarah May. You guys did a great job. I sincerely enjoyed learning about University of Utah, which I did not know anything about before. For any of our participants or anyone who's watching the recording afterwards, you are going to get a quick survey when you close the window here from Zoom. So just let us know any feedback you have. It's just a quick 4-question survey. And then this session will be recorded and you can find that session on oacac.org. And then also go ahead and sign up for some other sessions. There's some great ones going on, really great ways to learn about colleges and universities during the pandemic when we're not able to travel as much as we'd like to. So we really appreciate y'all stopping by and learning about University of Utah, and have a great rest of y'all's day. Bye, y'all.